What's up mga ka-PDAX? We'll start in a few. Make sure to comment, share this live stream, cast some reactions so that more people can be reached. All right, and we're live. Welcome mga ka-PDAX to our regular monthly crypto convos, wherein our friends from Open Journal will share their market outlook, especially now na si BTC and ETH medyo inaabangan ng lahat, especially BTC is trying to find its way to break 50K level. ETH just broke out yesterday, actually last night, and then of course our expert friends would like to also share their insights about it. So if you're interested to learn more, just make sure to stay tuned. And I'll be your host for today. Katie is on leave lang, but don't worry guys. I hope you guys are all doing great. We'll still push through with the webinar right now. Pero bago natin simulan yung webinar, I just want to ask your attention muna. Comment, all right? Leave a comment. Make sure to share this post. And then cast your reactions as well. If you have comments, you want to ask questions to our special guest right now, leave kayo ng comment. Babasahin din natin sila. So, shout out muna tayo ngayon sa mga ka-PDAX natin, especially yung mga community members natin and even sa mga newbies nakakapanood lang ngayon ng PDAX webinar. So, Shout out muna, Aaron Lian Gutierrez. Good afternoon mga kapidax. Very interesting afternoon to learn talaga. Oscar Albayra, Joseph. Yeah, Joseph is here with us later. So super expert yan. Later we'll learn a lot about the market outlook. Davis Mariano, thanks for tuning in. Um, yeah, David John, shout out, guys. Okay, not only that, guys, we'll also pick one lucky winner of 500 peso worth of BTC. So the nice thing here is that you learn and at the same time you win exciting prizes as well. Right? By the end of the video as well, meron kang chance to ask your questions kay Joseph sa magiging guest natin today from Open Journal Community. And if this is your first time tuning in, PDAX is a BSP licensed cryptocurrency exchange wherein you can trade Bitcoin, XRP, Litecoin, Ethereum at the best rates possible. And our mission in PDAX is to empower every Filipino to have an easy access to trading cryptocurrencies. Okay, so we're joined here today again with the marketing director of Open Journal, Mr. Josef Singson. Open Journal is a subscription-based trading community like us in PDAX, but we're taking it to the next level, where subscribers can gain private access not only to the intricacies of the market, but also have a solid access to a trading community or trading support group, aiming to help traders focus their capital on where the uptrending opportunities are, not just in the Philippines. Even if you're an OFW, you can access and you can also reach out to Open Journal community across global markets. So sobrang sulit, and if you find value to this webinar right now, I'm asking everyone to please share this video, comment, cast your reactions so that we can reach more people, especially mga newbies na lost, hindi alam yung gagawin, gustong matuto. It's, for some people who don't actually have enough time to analyze the market, why not ask the experts, diba? These guys are checking the market, analyzing the market day and night, exerting much efforts with solid experience to help you with your trading journey. Okay. All right. So without further ado, welcoming to the stage, Mr. Josef Singson. What's up, Joseph?
What's up, Tim? Good afternoon, pare. Kamusta?
Ayos lang. Tutok pa din sa market. Kagabi, ETH just broke out. So maybe part yan ng discussion mo later.
Definitely. Let me just share my screen and slides before we formally begin. But guys, just wanted to say happy Hump Day Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to Ethereum. Happy Wednesday to NFTs. And again, just wanted to congratulate and thank everyone for being here today, no? Quite exciting yung papag-usapan natin. We have a lot in store. And I'm sure you guys are excited to talk about market movement, what's happening in Bitcoin, Ethereum across the board, across the space. But our special topic today is actually about NFTs, non-fungible tokens. And this is also something that has been becoming so much more relevant. And I'm sure you guys are all quite curious, eager, and excited to learn more about it. So guys, checking lang, okay ba yung audio, my screen? Can you guys see it? Comment nga dyan para mabasa ko, para sure lang tayo before we begin. Pasabi lang kung okay lahat. Klaro ba lahat, guys? Nakikinig? Awesome. So, before we begin, just wanted to again welcome everyone here and thank PDAX for the opportunity, especially to those who have been here the past months already. This is a free and recurring conversation by PDAX in partnership with Open Journal. So to those of you who have been here for quite some time, regular na kayo in this show, welcome. To those of you attending for the first time, sobrang solid. Welcome ulit. Guys, palakpakan to all the newbies, to all the first attendees in Crypto Convos today. I'm sure you're all quite excited to begin and learn more about it. So, what are NFTs? What's going on? Why is this relevant in the space? How do you participate in it? If there's only one thing that you would pick up from my discussion today, it would be what NFTs are and why they're important in the future as blockchain technology and cryptocurrency gain further adoption. I'm sure a lot of us already are quite familiar with Bitcoin as a store of value, Ethereum and its smart contracts that enable building on top of existing infrastructures and ecosystems. But NFTs, medyo bago po to. And I'm sure you're also wondering what exactly these are. And to put it very simply, if there's one thing I would like you to absorb from this discussion today, is that NFTs are all about the tokenization of culture. This is something that Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, hindi si Gary Valenciano, but Gary Vaynerchuk, in his discussion with Raul Pal of Real Vision, was really talking about as a huge movement insofar as use cases for cryptocurrency and the like are concerned. And if you really think about it, there are so many opportunities for NFTs, and this is only the beginning. Pero before we talk about what NFTs could be, let's talk about what's happening in the space and why it's important. And throughout this presentation, you'll have a clearer understanding of what these tokens really are. So, syempre naman, you guys aren't living under a rock. And I'm sure whether it be on Facebook, through the news, on Twitter, you've been seeing NFT news everywhere. Whether it be about young kids or teenagers making a lot of money, memes being converted and translated to an NFT and being sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Or maybe even crypto punks or Bored Apes Club and a lot of other different collectibles being sold and people being interested in it. It's definitely something that's being talked about as much as people are talking about price action movement. What Tim was telling us earlier about Ethereum breaking out. Don't worry, we're going to talk about technical analysis and Ethereum a bit later. But really just going back to our surprise and core topic here today, it's really about NFTs taking over the world by storm and how, if you're not yet familiar with what they are or what's happening, it's something that we should really focus on. For the simple reason that money can be made in this particular opportunity. If you ask me, what I'm seeing in the NFT space was quite similar to what we were seeing back maybe 2017 and a bit earlier with regards to altcoins. There have been a lot of misconceptions about altcoins, especially when the space was quite new. I personally entered the space around 2017, arguably a bit later already compared to other pundits and people who were much earlier. But the way I'm looking at NFTs is similar to how people were looking at altcoins. A lot of people were on the sidelines. A lot of people were skeptical. A lot of people were bashers. A lot of people were unwilling to learn and understand. But what did we see evolve over the past half decade? We saw a lot of promising projects, different kinds of protocols outside just Bitcoin, your digital gold, and Ethereum, your digital silver. And a lot of these opportunities outperforming your benchmark index of Bitcoin. And if you take a look at the different transactions on NFTs, a lot of people have been making a lot of money. And I don't want you to have this misconception that NFTs equals easy money. The same way people before thought that altcoins equals easy money. But it's also about the process of journeying and going down the rabbit hole towards this particular use case to be able to understand what it is. Now, here is the most expensive NFT ever sold so far, ha? And sobrang fun fact, sobrang na-shock ako when I found out by Beeple, an artist. It sold for $69 million. Grabe. Kaya na mag-math, pero that's a lot of pesos. Ang daming crypto na mabibili. Ang daming pagkain, clothes, property, cars, whatever you're into, sobrang dami niyan, right? And if you take a look at the art, that's what's there on the upper right. And you might be wondering, Joseph, what is that? I just see a bunch of colored boxes. This is actually a sort of like a collage, a mosaic, and that's pretty much the point. There were around 5,000 different pictures splashed in that image, and that was minted to be an NFT that sold for $69 million. Isn't that crazy, right? Isn't that earth-shattering? And tama yan, Aaron, if you're living under an ether rock. That reminds me back in, I think, high school, like a marketing class, something to that effect, or a business class. Then your professor talks about how, did you know that back early before, there was a company that actually sold the rocks, as in bato, and they were shipping and distributing these rocks throughout the United States, and they earned a lot of money. And that's exactly what we're seeing as well in the NFT space. Not physical rocks, but ether rocks, right? A JPEG, a GIF of a rock selling for hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars. And don't worry, we're going to drill deeper on what these really are. Are NFTs just JPEGs? Are they just pictures? Are they overvalued? What exactly is going on? So let's take a look at under the hood first at some on-chain NFT metrics. And this slide is simply showing to you that we have an uptrend and increased participation, both in terms of traded volume for NFTs, as well as active participation of wallets, movement from wallets, participation, going in and out, and all of that jazz, right? And what this shows you over the past few months is that there's been an uptrend, and a lot of people have been participating heavily, as you'll be able to see on crypto Twitter, on the different headlines that you see, for the right reason. So it's on an uptrend. A lot of money is moving in and out of the space. You have a lot of demand. You have people participating. And since majority of NFTs are based or coded or predominantly housed by virtue of the Ethereum blockchain, this also has an effect on gas fees. So, quick question, guys. May pa-question ako for you, syempre. I need your active participation. Do you remember, or to those of you who were here during my last talk last month, what was the Ethereum improvement proposal? What was the number? Four numbers po yan. What was the Ethereum improvement proposal that I shared and talked about? So, can you put it here para ma-remind lang tayo? Because that's going to be related to the next thing that I'm going to talk about. 4 numbers. Do you remember? Remember? Or did people forget? Unsure? So, it's actually EIP 1559. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Tim. 1559. And what that simply was an improvement proposal to be able to make the gas fees of the Ethereum blockchain more predictable, not necessarily less. So just to be very clear, not necessarily less, but more predictable and less volatile. And as a result, it makes transactions more efficient when the block size can shrink or expand depending on the surge in traffic for a particular time. So what we're seeing over the past few days, weeks, and month is that we've seen a surge in gas fees on the blockchain. And this is by virtue, we have a correlation with participation and transactions on the blockchain, traded volume, things moving in and out, all sorts of things. And this is likely attributable to the momentum we're seeing in the NFT space. Given in the previous slide, I showed you how we've had an increase in traded volume as well as in sales for these companies selling these particular NFTs. Now, Joseph, I kind of get it. It's a hot space. There's an opportunity to make money. People are making money. But what is an NFT? All good, right? An NFT is a non fungible token. When we talk about something's fungibility, it's just about whether or not that item or good could be exchanged for an equivalent other. Fiat currency is fungible because I can exchange my paper money with your paper money, assuming they have equal value, and that would be fine, right? It's not like there's an innate difference between my 1,000 peso bill and your 1,000 peso bill. Sure, there might be a different serial number, mine might be a bit more crumpled, but all things equal, the society we live in recognizes that as legal tender and they're fungible. They can be exchanged for an equivalent, they can be replaced. The same thing with cryptocurrency. My Ethereum can be exchanged with your Ethereum. There's not much difference regarding that, and they can be considered and weighed equivalent to each other. They can be replaced and exchanged, and as a result, there can be a transaction that can be made as a result of that, right? But when we talk about a non-fungible token, it's something that is a unique cryptographic asset on the blockchain. And it has a unique identification code, para siyang unique DNA that differentiates it from other NFTs, right? Think of it like a unique transaction ID or a unique address that is coded or connected to the blockchain that serves as its kumbaga birth certificate or its DNA that links its lifeblood from just being a JPEG, just being a GIF, to it being something that is immortalized on the blockchain. So even if you have a CryptoPunk of the same style or of the same breed, but they might have a different serial number, they're still not fungible in the sense that the ones likely with a lower serial number, the ones that have a rarer characteristic, are going to end up more valuable than the others. That's why when NFTs are minted, they're often done, or almost all the time, it's a scarce amount, right? Hence, that creates a certain sense of demand for it and hype because people want to be able to own it. So just an example, you guys watch UFC, right? So Khabib had an NFT launch around a quarter ago, and I think per tier you had like a gold tier, a diamond, and platinum tier. I think in the first two tiers there were only I think 29 minted, and that would be synonymous or parallel with poetic justice to the number of wins he's had in his career prior to retiring. And yeah, fortunately I was able to cop one of the more common Khabib NFTs. And yeah, it's the same NFT, but you have 29 in the particular collection. All of those 29 have a unique ID and are different from each other, just like all of our DNA, our thumbprints are uniquely different. Like a snowflake, for example, if you look at it under the microscope. So how do they work, right? They have to be created or rather minted as an NFT that will, certify ownership for the particular piece created. and are now stored in an open blockchain ledger. Majority of these are smart contracts on Ethereum. And you have a lot of examples of NFTs. You have trading cards, you have VR real estate, you have collectibles, you even have digital art, etc. You also have play to earn. So yung topic which I discussed, I think briefly a few crypto convos ago, play to earn, sakop rin yan ng NFT world. Play to earn NFTs. All of these axes that you have are NFTs. They have a use case in the game Axie Infinity, and by virtue of purchasing these assets, you can battle with them and earn your SLP. In some parts of the world, there are even NFTs that serve as a receipt or an entrance or an event ticket to a particular place. So instead of buying, for example, a concert ticket or a ticket to an event that they give you paper na nakastamp, you get an NFT. Solid, no? Sobrang social, embedded na sa blockchain yung particular use case niyan. You also have subscription badges like that of YGG, Yield Guild Games. They were recently interviewed on Real Vision, with their efforts to organize and spearhead play to earn, and they're a Filipino founded group. So shout out to, Gabby Dizon and team for having that particular achievement. Sobrang solid, and very excited for the future of YGG. You have digital art, which I'll show you some examples later. You have blockchain domain names, which you can see from, I think, Unstoppable Domains. You even have tokenized insurance policies, tokenized luxury goods, digital music. I think Audius had a partnership with TikTok recently, and a lot of these things are going to come to fruition as more artists are going to start distributing or creating or distributing music through NFTs as well. You even have virtual real estate. This relates to the metaverse, right? To those familiar with Mana or Decentraland, right? There are NFTs you can buy there. You can even buy land there. You can buy spaces. You can buy characters. You can buy clothing, etc. Or even wearables, right? Which are also, part and parcel of living in this metaverse, buying your skins. To those of you who play COD Mobile or who play Fortnite, yeah, those particular skins are now going to be applicable in that particular game or that particular reality that you'll be playing or transacting in. So sobrang interesting, right? Sobrang cool. And just to reminisce a bit, and this is something that Gary Vee and Raoul Pal were talking about, this whole NFT movement, it's quite the beast mode version of Farmville, or a beast mode version of being able to buy in-game tokens. Do you get what I mean, right? Imagine before, when Facebook was new, when, Apple Store was new, all of these games, meron silang in-game currency. Robux for Roblox, you have V-Bucks, I think, for Fortnite, you have CODM for COD Mobile, and people would exchange fiat money, dollars, pesos, in exchange for that in-game currency, because there's a use case for them in that world to be able to change the color of their hair or change the skin or camouflage of their AK-47, or just change the look of their character, who is governed and operates inside that reality they play in. And think of NFTs the same way, right? You're able to buy a particular digital asset connected to the blockchain that has some sort of use case in that particular metaverse or world you're operating in. Take Decentraland, for example. Maybe in decades from now, we're going to see a full-on NFT revolution in partnership or part and parcel with holographic technology, VR. Guys, think Ready Player One, right? I mean, when I was reading about Decentraland before, I was like, the end all be all of all this metaverse stuff is like something like Ready Player One. If you guys haven't seen the movie, check it out. Super exciting, super cool. It's a confluence of so much technology, and that would be cool in our lifetime to be able to see. So, Joseph, did I hear you right? Luxury items, mga bag, pwedeng gawing NFT? So this is an interesting part of our discussion, right? When I am going to walk you through how physical art, as in tangible things in our world, I'm not talking about JPEGs here or GIFs, can be converted into NFTs, right? So the first way this can be done is by selling or distributing fractional shares of art. The beautiful painting you can see in the background is the Underground Sistine Chapel by Pascal Boyart, also known as P-Boy. And that singular piece of art, he divided into 12 sections and minted them as NFTs. So imagine how interesting that is for any form of classical art, whether that be a painting or a sculpture or any kind of thing that could be subdivided. Imagine having a Michelangelo or something super duper rare, a Van Gogh, and you can own a part of that, right? You don't have to be a European billionaire, trillionaire, eccentric who buys that and places it in his nth luxury yacht or nth mansion somewhere in the Swiss Alps, or maybe even stored in their Swiss bank account storage deposit box. You can now own a portion of that. It's tokenized. Para siyang stock, right? It's a part of a collection. It's part of a collective, and all of them would have different value depending on how the marketplace would perceive that particular portion of the art. Quite interesting. So, yes, a physical piece of art can be transformed and already has been transformed to an NFT. Next one, the Burnt Banksy event. You guys are familiar with Banksy, right? That whole like hipster, street artist, bad boy, borderline graffiti, rebel sort of stuff. So there was a artwork, and basically this artwork was set alight. It was burned, set ablaze, but prior to being burned, it was immortalized through being minted on the blockchain. And the very fact that that physical art was burned after it was minted increased the value of that. Because now you no longer had the concrete representation of thought, which is the painting, the literal, tangible thing you see there, but now it became something more unique. The only way to see that, the only way to have that was by buying the NFT. And that's what some people did when they were pushing NFTs and showing their support for Banksy and really just trying to make a statement. Another way this can be done is through microchipping. Sounds complicated, but imagine a microchip embedded in a sculpture or particular art, and then it could be scanned with your smartphone, similar to a QR code. And yeah, you can scan it with your mobile, and it redirects you to the address where it's housed in your wallet, or if you're putting it up for sale on a marketplace. May digital trail to the blockchain showing you as a person, your unique ID owns that particular sculpture. And this is Hajime Sorayama's sexy robot sculpture, which was, yes, a sculpture, a tangible sculpture, but it's also an NFT because that tangible piece of art was connected to the blockchain, and you could sell it, you could flex it, you could display it online and have that particular microchip being the representation of its connection to the blockchain. Last but not the least is something interesting. So you guys have gone to BGC, right? In BGC, very nice city, have you noticed a lot of murals, right? A lot of murals, a lot of big, nice art. Sobrang ganda tignan. Pag nagja-jogging kayo or after kayong gumimik, uy, may art pala dito, ganda. Like the Blue Lady inside Fully Booked. Imagine how NFTs are now going to be able to allow people to own murals, to own something na hindi mo madadala sa bahay mo, something which is a public spectacle, but you now have unique claim and ownership over that particular asset. Isn't it mind boggling? It's like being able to own, I don't know, a statue or own something that's in a public access point or public area. So this is what this particular artist did, right? You had this British street artist, Nathan Murdoch, and he released an NFT of his mural, and then just like Banksy, he destroyed it. Sinira niya yung beautiful clasped hands artwork, and he put like white paint all over it after he released an NFT of the original. So this is just very interesting because now not only did we talk about how scarcity can be increased when you now no longer have a digital asset, or sorry, you no longer have a tangible asset and you only have a digital one by virtue of an NFT, but something like a mural can also be sold and even tokenized if you go with the route of P-Boy. So this opens the world to how art is distributed, how artists create and sell and market their content without no longer needing a middleman or having to go through so many bureaucratic process and steps in that particular journey to be able to distribute their art, especially to those starting out, right? So it would be really cool if there are like starting artists who are, listening to this talk right now. This talk is for you. And I hope that the technology of NFTs, by virtue of blockchain technology and cryptocurrency, really help you with your distribution, help you reach your client base, help you reach your fans, and revolutionize and transform the way a lot of these things are being distributed. Now, quick history of NFTs, right? Surprise, guys. This is not new. This is not new, right? It didn't even happen over COVID during the pandemic. It's been around maybe since 2012, 2013, when cryptocurrency was like even rarer, even less known. If you talked about it, people would think you're a hipster or think you're a scammer or not know what you're talking about and think you're kind of sketch and crazy. So looking at that timeline, no, a lot of the NFTs we're seeing today or are appreciating today were minted and released like 3, 4, 5 years ago. These Ether rocks were around since 2018. Decentraland, somewhere 2017, 2018. These marketplaces we now see where you can participate in buying and selling and auctions, OpenSea, Rarible, they didn't just come out like last month, right? But what's interesting is that the world, traditional media, news started picking up on NFTs once you started seeing high volume transactions, when famous people were participating in its sale, when young kids who were living off their parents as an American middle class Joe was making a lot of money, flipping these on the internet. So it's been around for quite some time. And a lot of these projects might not be as relevant as they were before. The same way projects which could be relevant today, like CryptoKitties, CryptoPunks, the Cardano NFTs, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, all of that. They might not be relevant 20, 30 years from now, right? And I share the same sentiment as Gary Vee that similar to altcoins, 95% of these probably won't make it over the next 30, 40 years. But that doesn't mean at this point in time they won't be able to be flipped, and money, crypto, fiat could be made from the process or as a consequence of this. And if you remember back a few quarters ago, when NBA Top Shot was released, by Flow, Dapper Labs, that was also super poppin'. Flow was going parabolic, and a lot of people were making money left and right selling their NBA Top Shot moments. And I also particularly participated in that. And it's going to be funny, Matt and Javi make fun of me all the time because I don't know anything about basketball. I can barely play. I can barely do a layup. Can barely drive. But yeah, I participated in it, made some money, and it's interesting, right? How a lot of these real world licensed collectibles are now being transformed into part and parcel of blockchain by virtue of an NFT. And possibilities are endless regarding this particular technology. Now, taking a look at an overview of NFTs, we've cut this across three sections. You can see your top collections, right? First being Axie Infinity, Play to Earn. Second being CryptoPunks, something which is more classified as a collectible, para siyang avatar, something that maybe one day across social media will be able to flex. And there was a cool point or a cool tweet by some dude on Twitter, and he was like, Twitter should have a verification process for people using CryptoPunk display pictures. Because heck, anyone can get a super expensive CryptoPunk, change their display picture, and flex it. But imagine if there could be a way to verify that, similar to Twitter's, blue check mark. If there's a way to link that to the blockchain and authenticate, does this person really own that NFT for them to flex it or put that as their profile picture? That would be quite interesting. And this relates to the flex culture that we have today. I mean, let's face it, guys, whether you're a boomer, a millennial, a Gen Z, to some extent, there's some flexing going on, right? I mean, how boomers flex their art, how boomers flex na parang, oh, back in my day, pinaghirapan ko to, ito yung kotse, ito yung car, ito yung house and lot, ito yung art na I worked super hard for. Millennials, flexing their Supreme stuff or their fast fashion items, stuff they like, luxury goods, right? Their Balenciagas, their Louis Vuitton, their Hermes, all of that fancy schmancy stuff that to a large extent is hinged on validation. Human beings have a need to be validated, want to be able to feel special, want to be accepted by society, all of that. And NFTs, the tokenization of culture, precisely enables that in a digital and accessible way through the blockchain, right? You can now flex your avatar you spent a lot of money on. You can now flex the $69 million NFT you bought by making it, I don't know, a cover on Facebook or something like that, right? And it's very interesting when Gary Vaynerchuk was talking about the moment that we can start flexing these things is going to be monumental. I honestly imagine that in the next 5, 8, 10 years, when you go to someone's house, there's going to be like a projector or an LCD display with like a slideshow of the NFTs that they bought or that they own, right? To be able to show and flex that particular asset. Because this is now a new form of art, digital art, crypto art. Taking a look at the second way we cut this data, looking at top sales for that particular exchange or where this dashboard got their information, CryptoPunks. But definitely, like I showed earlier, there are more expensive NFTs. But in terms of this particular exchange, you did have CryptoPunks being the most mabenta, top sales. So thank you, Bro Matt, for the link. Correct. Marketplaces are where you can buy and sell NFTs. The most popular being OpenSea and Axie Infinity, because Axie Infinity, the popping play to earn revolution, people being able to make minimum wage or more by playing, 3, 4, 5 hours through their smartphone. But in terms of like a marketplace, parang Facebook Marketplace, parang Lazada, parang Shopee, you can check out OpenSea and Rarible, right? That's where you can buy NFTs. Parang secondary market siya where you can buy and sell NFTs which came from previous projects or previous releases. You can buy your crypto dinos there, your bored apes, your crypto punks, but also a lot of these projects have websites for themselves when they pre-release or when they newly mint and are releasing or selling a collection for the first time. Pero guys, dapat mabilis kayo. A lot of these sell out very fast, especially if it's like something super attractive with huge amounts of demand. Just taking a look at here as well, these are the most expensive, if I'm not mistaken, tokens sold so far in Axie and for CryptoPunks. Grabe, no? How that was sold for a whopping, around hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? That's for the Axie Infinity, and for the CryptoPunk, millions of dollars, no, for that particular avatar. And if you think about it, what really determines the value of an NFT? And that's a super complicated, loaded question because you have so many variables. You have traditional supply and demand, the price a buyer is willing to pay for it, the price a seller is willing to sell it, right? You have the gas fees, you have the team that made it, you have the project pipeline for that particular project. Magagamit ko ba yung avatar na to? What's next in line for Axie? Are we gonna have Axie Land? Are we gonna have a new meta, a new dimension for the game? What's gonna be new for Decentraland? Are we gonna be able to go inside the Atari casino? Are they gonna have more real world pegged realities in that particular metaverse? So there are so many facets to consider. We'll talk a bit more about that later when I walk you through about the decision purchase or the journey in being able to buy your first NFT and flip it. It's quite interesting. So you even have OpenSea being able to log $3 billion in trading volume in August, a new record. And yeah, shout out to CoinFam. You can check her out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for this particular insight and compiling this different news together. So, syempre, part of that definitely could be what I talked about earlier, how gas fees are now more predictable. Yes, they're definitely going to go up when there's a particular surge in demand, but insofar as it being easier to determine or less volatile, we have that. We're seeing that happen. We're also seeing a degree of institutional sponsorship. Visa acquiring their own CryptoPunk amounting to $166,000 because their Visa, they want to do it, they can do it, they got the money, whether that be for a marketing or publicity stunt to say, hey, nakikiuso kami. Alam rin namin yan, CryptoPunk. Kahit we're a traditional, financial service provider, credit card company, all sort of that, right? And you also have, Steph Curry, diba? NBA guy acquiring a Bored Ape NFT, $150,000. And we were talking about this in our meeting with Open Journal in Buhawi last Tuesday, and Javi was mentioning Steph Curry, hindi naman lang siya nakikiuso. He's also quite financially literate. He was, if I'm not mistaken, investing in some tech stocks, EV, that sort of sustainable lens of looking at investing. Hindi yung tipong, oy, NFT, popular to, bibilin to. So, smart guy, great three-point shooter. So, yeah, he knows what he's doing, right? And we're also really seeing how play to earn, which is a subset of NFTs, really having huge ROI and huge sales. You have Axie Infinity, you have Alice, you have Sand, you have Deepet, you have YGG, you have Polychain Monsters, Dino X, and these are other ways to earn. So I'll save that topic for another time if ever you're interested or there's an opportunity to talk more about play to earn mismo. The most famous, of course, being Axie Infinity for obvious reasons. But just to share, I'm also checking out Crypto Zone, CZ, Crypto Zone. You have zones, ZOANS, para siyang monsters na card na also fight. So there are also a lot of interesting and profitable play to earn projects which people can participate in aside from Axie Infinity. So cool, I get it. NFTs, right? Now, what are the protocols? What are the NFT coins behind those NFTs? Kasi I'm sure the demographic of you traders also want to be in the loop of ano yung mga coins na related sa NFT. If hindi mo trip mag-flip ng NFT, if ayaw mong makisawsaw sa Axie Infinity, makisawsaw sa CryptoPunks, all good, respeto, many ways to skin a cat, many ways to make money. Think of this as like a diversification tool, right? You can have crypto, you can have bonds, you can have art, right? So think of NFT, crypto, digital art as art, right? But to those of you interested to invest in the underlying project for it, you can take a look at it here. Theta, Axie Infinity, Chili's, some sports stuff going on there, Flow, NBA Top Shot, Audius for music, Sandbox, Play to Earn, Decentraland, the whole metaverse of that. Very interesting. Yeah, the lens in which I want people or how I would look at NFTs is looking at it like art. If it makes me happy, if it's something that sparks joy, if gusto ko siyang tignan, if I believe in it, then I'll buy it, right? And then if mag 10x, 100x, 1000x siya, that would be a blessing. I mean, when people buy paintings for their household, when they buy sculptures, sure, a part of that is for the investment purpose, but primarily it's a form of expression to support a particular cause, a particular artist, a particular ideology, and a certain cathartic experience that they get when they, look at their art every day and admire it. So this is kind of cool, right? I just checked out, Theta NFTs, right? When I was doing my deep dive into the rabbit hole of NFTs over the past few weeks. And sobrang cool yung stuff in store. Bam! You have ONE FC, MMA, right? Of Asia, or like second tier to UFC. They're gonna have their own moments to like rival the UFC NFTs that are also gonna come out in the future. Katy Perry, Miss Perry is gonna come out with her NFTs. Not sure how that's gonna be mechanized, if it's like a track, tapos may pa-art, all of that. And, World Poker Tour. So just imagine, I was talking to Javi earlier when I was sharing him the deck, aligning it with him. It's not just basketball. It's not just MMA, right? Even poker. Alam mo yun? The best bluffs in the world. The biggest recoveries. Mga royal flush, right? Or pocket aces, gone good, gone bad, right? All of these wild laugh trip stuff happening in poker, whether it be some, flop, river, turn action going on. Yeah, they're going to be able to transform that moment into an NFT and distribute that. Isn't it interesting? I mean, sure, poker, it's fun if you're playing it, fun if you're watching it, but I never thought of this new commercial angle to selling the sport or selling the activity. Imagine what they could do with like golf, right? I mean, some people find golf boring, but imagine if there are NFTs about all of those eagles, birdies, hole in one. Sobrang solid, right? I mean, it just opens your mind to what cultural activities could be metamorphosized, converted, and transformed into an NFT, linking it to a blockchain, distributing that, building a community around it, and adding value in that particular way. Sobrang solid. You know, Javi, right? Back in the day, right, Habs, you were competing, you were an Asian poker tour champ. Maybe in the future, when you compete again, we're gonna have a Have Medina NFT when he wins like a bracelet. That would be wild, right? Comment, guys, if you'd love to see that. You know, Habs, that would be kind of cool. Habs as a NFT, right? Or maybe in the future, guys, we're gonna have open journal NFTs. Endless possibility in this particular space. So let's go back local first, right? Local artists like Crypto Pop, who's been around like few years already, was actually creating NFTs and selling them every time Bitcoin would reach a new milestone. He released an NFT. So yeah, pretty great artist and awesome pivot and quite a pioneer in the NFT space, even prior to it being called an NFT. So shout out, you know, Crypto Pop. Awesome stuff. I love the milestone nuance combined with like superheroes. Solid yan. You also have Patrick Cabral, aka Dark Gravity. Yeah, he and his wife Camille created some of these or Cami, sorry, created some of these NFTs, which you guys can check out as well. Quite interesting, you know, when I was doing deep dives, shout out to CoinFem also, Belle, who was helping me, you know, navigate the local artist scene. She also gave me some of the research and nuances I used here today. And it's just beautiful to see local artists venture out into this space, right? It's just good to see how blockchain technology, how cryptocurrency, how all of these developments are helping people distribute, add value to their particular kind of work. So you guys can check him out on this platform. You can also check him out on Instagram. NFTs aside, his art, this very unique style of paper art is beautiful. Sobrang ganda. When I saw it, it's very unique. Something I haven't seen before. So check him out, Dark Gravity. So shout out, you know, thank you for being one of the pioneers or one of these local artists who were, you know, participating in NFTs quite recently. Now, we're almost done, guys. Just a bit more, you know, quite a lot to talk about. So, what are the advantages and disadvantages of an NFT? So, pretty simply, the good thing about it is it's less expensive in the sense that if you're a content creator, you are an artist, you're someone who is distributing content in whatever way, shape, and form, whether that be a painting, a sculpture, an audio track, you no longer need a middleman. And if you're able to mint your own NFTs, create a website to sell them, or even list them on a marketplace, it now becomes this D2C or direct to consumer business model that cuts out the record labels, cuts out the brokers, cuts out the middlemen, cuts out the agent, cuts out the manager who otherwise would make this so much more expensive or restrict you in terms of doing what you have to do, because now, you know, you got to subscribe with the ethos of the record label, and they might have a particular direction or mold which they want you to fit in, no, all of that. So it becomes cheaper, becomes easier to access, it becomes something more distributable. And this is something which we're seeing in this new normal post COVID, right? A lot of businesses are really shifting direct to consumer. Traditional brick and mortar retail is dying given the risk of going out, given the cost of rent and not being able to make back the foot traffic since people aren't going out. In the US and the Philippines, we're all going digital. We're all going online. Lahat na po tayo nag-Shopee, nagla-Lazada, nagpipikaroo, nagla-Landers, SNR, all of that to do groceries. Other pros is that it's very, very secure, right? When I was thinking about this presentation, making this deck over this week, when I was thinking about it, I was like, when NFTs are now, immortalized in the blockchain, are we gonna see less theft, less art heists, alam mo yun? Money heist sort of stuff, right? Or prison break-esque sort of stuff. I don't know, like all those stealing, Mission Impossible, what was that movie? National Treasure, Nicolas Cage, extents of stealing stuff, right? All this espionage. Is that gonna stop now because it becomes pointless? Because even if you like break into a museum or break into this rich guy's house and you steal the art, well, you can't sell it. It's not gonna be yours because he has that transaction ID, unique fingerprint, DNA embedded in the blockchain showing that they have it. So it's a security aspect as well. It's also transferable, similar to the whole Bitcoin gold argument. Like, if I'm a rich dude, sobrang hassle to transform or carry my gold bars in my Swiss bank storage account to Africa if I'm gonna move there, or to Asia, right? Buy Bitcoin na lang as a store of value. Similar to NFTs, right? The storage cost, the cleaning cost of, traditional art. Not saying it's gonna replace completely traditional art, but in terms of the opportunity to make things digital, make things cheaper, make things faster, sobrang interested, sobrang wild. Possibilities are endless. Now, what are some cons, right? Just like anything, just like a lot of altcoins, maraming super cool new protocols, di ba? Na parang, uy, low cap gem to, uy, pwede to. Pero syempre, volatile, right? When Bitcoin goes down 8%, that could go down 20-25%, right? And the correlation between the token and the particular NFT in and of itself, maybe not lockstep, but there's a certain effect, a splash damage sort of effect, or a buffer effect if it's going parabolic pataas. Like Axie, for example. People now have to consider the price of SLP, the price of AXS, the price of Ethereum, the gas-free prices when they decide to build a team, when they compute their profitability model to be able to determine what is my payback period for my scholars, when am I gonna make my money back for my NFTs, right? So there are a lot of complexities given this diverse reality of it being a new space, it being volatile, prices going up literally, no exaggeration, 1,000 times over a week. And our team member, co-league in Open Journal, Jessa, si NFT Queen. So Jessa, congrats on the NFTs you're holding. I don't mean na laglagin ka, pero sobrang solid the progress you've made, and super looking forward to you sharing more NFTs to the Open Journal community and your journey flipping these assets. Sobrang solid. So guys, check her out. Follow her on Twitter. Active rin yan sa NFT flipping and other fleet captains and members of Open Journal. Some of the cons as well, and this is borderline misconception, but I get where it's coming from. The same way people talk about this environmental damage, environmental harm thing for cryptocurrency, people also say that about, minting an NFT. And to be completely honest, I don't mean to be an a-hole, but my simple answer is, if you cared so much about the environment, stop driving a car. Don't use aircon. Huwag ka na magluto ng pagkain. Don't go out and buy stuff. Don't buy paper. Don't buy anything, right? Everything has a carbon footprint, and just to be completely honest, the shit that, crypto gets for it is just doesn't make much sense, right? I mean, when you print fiat currency, which the US has been doing since the start of the pandemic, right? $120 billion in purchases over the every month since the pandemic, 30% of all US dollars not even existing prior to the pandemic. That took a lot of energy, capital, paper, ink, right? All of these particular things that traditional institutions are doing, they're not getting faulted for it. And the new industries are facing the flack from that, whether it be an NFT, a crypto, all of that. I mean, don't get me wrong, syempre, everything has an environmental damage, but that's the whole point of improving the blockchain, right? Like for Ethereum, you have improvement protocols being rolled out every quarter, every 6 months to be able to improve the particular process, to be able to make things better, make things faster, make things cheaper, make things more affordable. And as adoption continues, we're going to find more efficient and greener ways to make these things better. So, is there a problem in terms of environmental harm? Yes, but it's not exclusive to NFTs, not exclusive to crypto, not exclusive to blockchain. Everything else has it and maybe more. Now, super quickly, apologies a bit over time, medyo marami tayong i-discuss for today. Um, Getting started, do your own research, trade at your own risk, right? The same way you're not gonna all in your house, sasangla mo yung bahay, all in, including the kitchen sink, in Dogecoin, in XRP, or in SHIB, you wouldn't do to NFTs. So guys, konting isip lang. I mean, let's be cognizant and aware of what we're getting into. It's a speculative new asset, high risk, high reward. Do your own research, know what you're getting into. Create a supporting wallet and connect it to your marketplace, OpenSea or Rarible. Here's a quick diagram to show you what the different wallets are, but from my experience, most of the things I had to do could be done or achieved by my MetaMask and my Coinbase wallet. You can create multiple, knock yourself out. Just be wary about the headache and having too many wallets and moving money in and out. And here are some factors to consider before participating in an auction or buying during pre-sale. And hat tip to Jessa, Mike, and Berto, from Open Journal and Revan as well for indirectly contributing to this during our last discussion and what I've been reading on our, Discord. Firstly, the gas fees. So be aware of the gas fee premium, which happens at a particular time where there's a lot of transactions, whether that be on the buy side or sell side. Maraming taong interested. So syempre, gas fees could go up and it might reach a point where it's not worthwhile. You might pay like what? 0.5, 1 Ethereum for some insane reason in gas fees. Second is demand for a project, right? It's not enough for it to be a new project. People have to want it. And it has to be more scarce, right? There has to be more demand than the available supply. So people are going to buy it up and there's going to be interest for it. Like the people who bought it during pre-sale, bought it when it was first released, are going to sell it for a premium. And now people who want to buy that because they think they can sell it for more are going to buy it from that people. So parang stocks lang, guys. Ano mo yun? The more demand, the more bullish you are, the less people willing to sell. If all-time high siya, edi aarangkada si price. Wala po siyang resistance. This is very important also. The team behind the NFT. Some of these people hide under the cloak of anonymity. And then next thing you know, there's a rug pull, bentahan na, everything goes to shit, and website's gone. Kind of sketch, right? You need to know who the CEO is, who's the CTO, who's the marketing team, what's their background. Do some due diligence on these individuals to see what their experience is and if they're legit. And this is also more important than the team behind it is the community. And I'm not just talking about your Telegram group or your Discord server, because everyone has that. But is it a safe community? Is it a sensible community? Do people know what they're doing, or is everyone just trying to screw each other over? What are their principles? Is there a capacity for it to scale, right? Because you can have an NFT, something unique, sure, but if no one cares about it, there's going to be no potential. No one's going to want to buy it. Anyone can mint or create an NFT with a few hundred or $1,000, but how is that going to have scale and create a network effect? Food for thought. You can check out Twitter. Check out Twitter. Use the hashtag NFT, CNFT for Cardano, and be surprised. Knock yourself out with all of the information there. You can also see the extent of participation, social media influencers participating, people hyping and participating it. Just make sure you can know that these are real accounts and not bots. So you can kind of, research Google how to find that out. But yeah, make sure these are legit followers and they didn't just have some sort of growth hacking initiative to buy followers and make it look authentic, but in reality it's like three guys in their basement living with their parents. Last but not the least, a promising project roadmap. Every crypto or protocol has a white paper, yay. Every NFT project has a roadmap. May plano po yan, may dates, and keep these milestones in mind and see napapatupad ba yung milestones na to? Are people able to participate in them? Hindi sila talk shit, right? So these are just some of the many other variables to consider when participating and buying or flipping an NFT. We can go to specifics maybe on another discussion, but I wanted this to be a bit more general to add the most value to people. And last but not the least, my last slide before we go on to a quick market overview. Endless possibility, guys. Hindi pa pumapasok yung Marvel, Pokemon, Star Wars, Disney, Funko Pop. I'm not saying, by the way, don't quote me on this, not saying we're gonna see NFTs of these things. But all of these licensed collectibles we all love that have huge traction and following intergenerationally, wala pa silang NFT, or not that I'm aware of. So if you're aware of any of their NFTs, comment below and help add value to this discussion. Pero all things considered, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Not meaning to hype you, but just telling you the reality of this space and how this could further evolve and metamorphosize into something awesome. Last but not the least, what's our pick of the week? Our team, Open Journal, we're quite bullish, optimistic on Ethereum, given that it broke out from that brief period of consolidation you can see over the past few months. And if you take a look at the ETH BTC chart, it's showing relative strength. It's breaking out from that area pattern. And what this means and shows you is the likelihood of Ethereum to outperform Bitcoin moving forward, given the ETH BTC chart going higher and your Bitcoin dominance chart going lower, or at least not breaking out or having any impressive move higher. So Ethereum is something very interesting, something we can watch over the next few days. Maybe use an intraday time frame to operationalize an entry. I would use an intraday time frame to get a pullback or participate in an intraday bullish divergence, right? You can also wait for the pullback to your fast EMAs, your 5-day EMA or your 10-day EMA if you want to participate. To those of you who have a position, I would just hold it until proven otherwise, until my trail stops break. But looks like we're en route to hopefully retesting previous high and breaking out from there. We follow price. We don't make predictions, by the way. This is just probability, what the chart is telling me. But all things considered, we follow price and we don't anticipate a bounce of resistance. It might just break out. We don't anticipate a bounce of support or a breakout of resistance. Best to follow price. And lastly, just from a fundamental lens perspective, when you compare the price to sales or PS ratio of Ethereum at 50 compared to Bitcoin at like 4K levels, it really shows you the potential of Ethereum to be something which would attract a fundamentalist, right? If you're into that school of thought. But generally speaking, will the flippening be on the horizon? I have no idea. Only God knows, OGK. Wala po akong crystal ball. But when we take a look at on-chain analytics, when we take a look at the fundamentals, when we take a look at the technicals, it's pointing in a bullish, optimistic, positive direction unless invalidated or proven otherwise. So to be clear, not shilling it, not financial advice, trade your own plan, and best of luck. So guys, maraming salamat. Just a few announcements. Thanks for indulging us all here today. Check out our Open Journal YouTube page. Please like and subscribe and tick the bell button, right? If you want to be notified every time we have a cool video, we'll probably be uploading this video for to those of you who weren't able to see the whole thing or had to step out or were unable to join us here today. Second is, guys, please naman, rare naman ako mag-ask ng pabor. Please, guys, can you follow our brand new Open Journal account on Instagram? We are here. Took some time, but no worries, we're here. If magsa-story kayo or magpa-post kayo ng screen cap, please, follow us and check us out on Instagram. Lastly, we open you to join our Open Journal family. Maraming salamat. We are very pleased and happy to invite anybody. And this is open to anyone and everyone. We'll try to have some promos in the future, but for now, that's our pricing. Maraming salamat. And we welcome you guys. And last but not the least, we have a special collection, some merch, guys. Maybe NFTs in the future. That would be super duper awesome. We'll work on that and put that on the pipeline for sure. But for now, we have some goodies for you guys. Guys, if you want to get a crypto to the future mug or an open journal mouse pad, or why not best of both worlds, check out NASDAQ Clothing on Facebook. So Open Journal, we partnered with NASDAQ Clothing, and yeah, we have a few SKUs left, limited supply while it lasts. So cop it now if you want to get your limited edition mousepad and mug bundle, or you get them individually. Just send a message to Chris over at NASDAQ Clothing on Facebook. Cool guy, gonna help us out. And just for context, on the end of Open Journal, this is a non-profit initiative. We partnered with Chris to help him out and support local entrepreneurship. But this is really for a relief fund for our Open Journal community. Knock on wood, if there are any family members or Open Journal subscribers who might be sick or going through some financial struggle by virtue or because of the pandemic, we're creating this fund for them. So that's the inspiration behind this particular initiative. With that said, apologies going over time. Hope you guys enjoy and learned something new and added value to your knowledge about NFTs in the space. And have a good evening and night ahead. You can reach out to me on my handles over there, and maybe we can have time for like 2 questions. Apologies for going over time. And what's up? Maraming salamat. Stay safe, stay profitable, and have an awesome week ahead, mga ka-PDAX.
All right, Joseph, thank you for your very insightful presentation, especially NFTs now. Na napakaraming nag-uusap about it, no? And I'm pretty sure an hour of your time will not be enough to fully explain everything. But thanks for having a great recap of what NFTs are. And I believe you can entertain 2 questions, no?
Sure, yeah.
Uh, if you're still watching until at this point, comment your questions. Tapos sasagutin ni Joseph. Mga
Yup.
ka-PDAX, tanong lang kayo. I think my question si Arkin Bro eh. Super interesting.
Cool, cool. Arkin Esguerra. Sure, you can pin it over there. What are your
Sure.
thoughts on some NFT project CEOs who do not disclose who they are? Um, well, my knee jerk reaction is why hide under the veil of anonymity? I mean, I'm not saying that all projects which are anonymous or you can't find out who they are sketchy or won't come to fruition. I would just prefer ones that have a lens of transparency, right? But I mean, 21st century data privacy, I kind of get or I vibe this whole pa-cool anonymity sort of thing. But all things considered, that's just one aspect of decision making. I would look very deeply at, if you don't know who the team behind it is, how is their community like? What is their plan to scale? What is their plan to grow the fan base? And it really depends on what NFT it is. Is this just a collectible? Is this like a metaverse sort of thing na, oh my gosh, this character may function yan later on? Masastake yan? Or for just an example, crypto dinos, CNFT, a Cardano NFT, something which I participated in as well. Yeah, you can buy dinosaurs na cute na NFT, pero parang later on they're gonna have some sort of breeding system, or you can combine them with like another character like a dino hunter or something like that. Not entirely sure, but that's the importance of looking at the roadmap and being able to hold the community accountable. I mean, I think, yeah, I was mentioning Jessa, our colleague from Open Journal. She actually participates in Discord of certain NFT projects, given her background in like computer science and coding and stuff. So, yeah, it's a cool way to network as well, to be able to get to know the people in charge, calling the shots, community members. So, very interesting. And yeah, those are my thoughts to just consider the different aspects of the project. The most important being, is there a use case, a value add, and will this have a network effect which can be leveraged onto scale over time and with size as the community grows?
Wow, that's a great answer. No? And personally, I just want to share lang din, no? Parang I've seen some NFT projects nga na like P2E. Some of them are not disclosing their names. Parang picture lang talaga, cartoonized
Oo
na
nga
scene.
eh.
And for me, like, although I think some people kasi would think na may mga projects na like DeFi projects na very anonymous lang din yung mga yung mga project leaders eh. But you would really see the white paper being like structured talaga, and lahat ng plans are well laid, parang
Mhm.
layout. You know na parang the way the white paper was positioned, sobrang pinag-isipan. It's not like, parang sobrang ikli lang na white paper. They know what they're
Correct.
saying.
Yep.
These are likely developers talaga. So I think that's one thing then that they can consider if they're not disclosing who they are, then how's the white paper? Kamusta? Parang okay ba? Solid ba yung fundamentals and all?
Correct.
So
Correct.
yeah, I think wala na nagtatanong so far. Baka lahat na sagot yung mga questions, no? But I just wanna wrap it up then yung mga insights na nakuha namin from PDAX team based on your presentation, no? That NFTs are not easy money. It's really a process. Parang it's, like going down the rabbit hole, you need to do your own research. And it's really a way of, like creative artists to monetize what they do. And at the end of the day, there are pros and cons, and it's up to you and how will you use it to your own advantage. And definitely, there are scam projects out there, and I've seen some. I think there's one P2A game na parang when you access their website, ano na hindi mo na ma-access bigla, just one day rug pull na wala talaga. So I think this
Yeah.
is really very good and healthy discussion, and thanks so much for your time and preparing that cool presentation. There we learned a lot. Sobra, sobra. And yeah, so that concludes our webinar today. And we hope everyone learned a lot. If you have questions, suggestions, comments, reactions, do let us know. Join lang kayo ng community, ng Open Journal, or join again the PDAX community. And don't forget to also like their Facebook page, follow them on Twitter. I think na-provide naman ni Joseph kanina. And if you're new and you want to ask questions about your account naman sa PDAX, visit our help center lang din. Go to support.pdax.ph. And again, thanks everyone for watching and have a good evening.
Thank you. Take care, guys. Stay safe. And yeah, if you have any questions, reach out to me on the social media handles. We'll gladly entertain when I can. Peace. Stay safe. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Joseph. Bye, everyone.